The people, the headlines, the issues impacting you. All on This Week in Cincinnati on 9 on Your Side.
Welcome back, everyone, to This Week in Cincinnati. This morning, WCPO reporter Paula Christian and I are talking with Cincinnati Mayor John Cranley. Thank you so much for being with us.
So let's talk about your 3 goals for 2019, just the big ones, what you'd like to see the city improve on next year.
My number 1 goals are always jobs and people, so economic growth, continued reduction in crime, and to make sure the dividends of our growth reduce poverty, and we invest in sustainable renewable energy that is also going to save the taxpayers money.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about your plan for installing solar panels, where you'd like to see them done and how that could help the city.
We're pursuing a major plan, 25 megawatts, which is roughly about 25% of our annual consumption. So we use a lot of energy to pump water into people's homes, a sewer district, to lighting up City Hall, all the things we have to do to consume energy. We directly use about 100 and some megawatts a year. So 25 megawatts is the largest that we know of in the country of a solar plant. But here's where it gets interesting, Paula. Solar costs roughly 7 cents a kilowatt, which means, because once you build it, it's free, but you have to pay off the debt of building it. So the cost of that amortization, like a mortgage on a home, is about 7 cents a kilowatt. We have about 40 megawatts of energy that costs more than 7 cents a kilowatt. So not only is it good for the environment, reducing CO2 emissions, but it literally will save taxpayers money in terms of the cost of that energy. Now so it'll take a long time before we're below 7 cents a kilowatt for other energy, and that's a different policy decision. But it'll easily take us the next 3 years to get that first 25 megawatts online. So not only will it be good for the environment, but it will save the taxpayers some money.
You talked about doing it perhaps at Lunken.
Yeah, so my idea is to use the Lunken Airfield, since we own the land and it's flat. And in Denver, at their airport, they have solar arrays, just like the zoo does, but ours would be lower to the ground. So Lunken, we also have an abandoned landfill on Center Hill that we can use. So we're going to use free land first that isn't being used otherwise, and make a real dent. I
was saying earlier that I'm surprised that we have that much sunshine. It seems as of late we haven't had much, to be able to make it a positive impact and affect our the money and the amount. But you say yes, indeed, it's true.
Yeah, interestingly, I know it's surprising to me too, because you think Arizona or whatnot would be which is a good place for solar, but actually we have quite a bit of sun in Cincinnati, even compared to northern Ohio and other parts of the Midwest. So it's increasingly cost justified.
In the waning seconds that we have, I just want to bring up this as a last thing. The voters in November approved a bunch of changes for council. A return to 2-year terms. I didn't think that would come back so soon. They also approved that allowing council to hold executive sessions. So do you think those will be a positive for city council and for the people of Cincinnati?
Well, the 2-year terms, absolutely. I think that council has gotten too removed from the people that elected them to focus on the basic services and to be pro jobs and growth in a way that I think that if they faced the voters more often, they would be voting more consistently.
Nice way of saying you don't think they're working hard enough?
I don't know. Well, I would say that, a great example was the streetcar fight 4 years ago. If they were facing, many of them campaigned on stopping the streetcar, and then they changed their mind. If they didn't have a 4-year term and they had to go back to the voters so quickly, I don't know that they would have done that. So I believe that we'll get better public policy decisions if you face the voters more often. So I'm a big supporter of that. I also oppose it was weirdly worded, the way the ballot language executive session. I think people thought they were voting against executive session, but the way it was worded made it sound like it was a yes. So we'll see what comes of that.
And we thank you very much for coming in and making this we're going to make this an annual event. We actually have. So there it is, 3 years in a row. Thank you, Mayor John Cranley. Appreciate it. Paul, of course, appreciate you as well. We're going to post our interview with Mayor Cranley for you on our YouTube channel in case you missed any of it. And This Week in Cincinnati, we'll be right back.